And I now invite Ms. Adila Hassim to address the court.
South Africa contends that Israel has transgressed Article 2 of the Convention by committing actions that fall within the definition of genocide. At this provisional measures stage, it is not necessary for the court to come to a final view on the question of whether Israel's conduct constitutes genocide. It is necessary to establish only whether at least some of the acts alleged are capable of falling within the provisions of the Convention. The first genocidal act is the mass killing of Palestinians in Gaza. Nowhere is safe in Gaza. In the first 3 weeks alone, Israel deployed 6,000 bombs per week. At least 200 times it has deployed 2,000-pound bombs in southern areas of Palestine designated as safe. Israel has killed an unparalleled and unprecedented number of civilians with the full knowledge of how many civilian lives each bomb will take. The scale of Palestinian child killings in Gaza is such that UN chiefs have described it as a graveyard for children. The second genocidal act is Israel's infliction of serious bodily or mental harm to Palestinians in Gaza. Israel's attacks have left close to 60,000 Palestinians wounded and maimed. Large numbers of Palestinian civilians, including children, are arrested, blindfolded, forced to undress, and loaded onto trucks, taken to unknown locations. Turning to the third genocidal act, Israel has deliberately imposed conditions on Gaza that cannot sustain life. First, by displacement. There is nowhere safe for them to flee to. Those who cannot leave or refuse to be displaced have either been killed or at extreme risk of being killed in their homes. Entire hospitals were required to evacuate even newborn babies in intensive care. The order itself was genocidal. Houses and infrastructure, I quote, have been razed to the ground, frustrating any realistic prospects for displaced Gazans to return home. The destruction is celebrated by the Israeli army, erecting the Israeli flag over the wreckage, seeking to re-establish Israeli settlements on the rubble of Palestinian homes. Israel's conduct has been deliberately calculated to cause widespread hunger, dehydration, and starvation. An unprecedented 93% of the population in Gaza is facing crisis levels of hunger. More Palestinians in Gaza may die from starvation and disease than airstrikes. Israel has deliberately inflicted conditions in which Palestinians in Gaza are denied adequate shelter, clothes, or sanitation. Cases of diarrhea in children under 5 years of age have increased 2,000%. The fourth genocidal act, the healthcare of infrastructure in the Gaza Strip, has been completely obliterated. Israel is blocking the delivery of life-saving aid, including essential medical kits for delivering babies. All of these acts form a calculated pattern of conduct by Israel, indicating a genocidal intent. The facts before the court today are sadly even more stark, and like the Gambia-Myanmar case, deserve and demand this court's intervention. Nothing will stop the suffering except an order from this court. Without an indication of provisional measures, the atrocities will continue, with the Israeli Defense Force indicating that it intends pursuing this course of action for at least a year. In the words of the UN Under-Secretary General, you think getting aid into Gaza is easy? Think again. 3 layers of inspections before trucks can even enter. Confusion and long queues. A growing list of rejected items. The fighting must stop. That concludes my section on the genocidal conduct of Israel. I thank you for your patient attention.